TLC just recently announced that they're going to be canceling Kate Plus 8. Now, I watched John and Kate Plus 8 when it first came out. I have a small child, and I was intrigued by the show. I was interested to see how people would handle having 8 kids, 6 of whom were newborns. So I have to admit, the show sucked me in a little bit. I watched a couple episodes, but after a while I got annoyed with it and stopped watching. Now, the thing that annoyed me was Kate. When they would do the interviews on the couch with John and Kate, she would say the most ridiculous things, and after a while, she just started looking like a gigantic biatch. So I stopped watching the show, and then I heard in the news that they were going to get divorced. So I might have watched a couple shows around that, and then I stopped watching again. And then I was astonished to find out that Kate was getting her own show. The first thing I thought was, is there really an audience for this? Is there anybody on the planet who actually wants to watch this woman? But it turns out that there is. I don't know if it's single mothers that are into her or what it is, but people actually like watching this woman. Now, if you watch a show, you can see that she's very overdramatic for just about any reason at all. But the thing that stands out to me is every time she looks at the camera, she says, "It's all about my kids. The most important thing to me is my kids. My kids, my kids, my kids." Having watched an episode recently because it's going off the air, I'm thinking to myself, your kids? What about your fake boobs? What about your fake hair? What about the mountains of makeup on your face? It's funny to me, she used to yell at John for not helping out, and all she ever talks about is how she cares so much about her kids, and then she goes off on a book tour. I'm sorry, but book tour does not equal taking care of my kids. I mean, I'm not saying that she doesn't love her kids, but she can't tell me on one hand that they're the most important thing to her, and then on the next breath say she's going on a book tour. It seems to me like she's a bit of an attention whore. If you look at her now, compared to what she was at the beginning of the show, she's gone completely Hollywood. Her brother and ex-husband have both come out saying that she exploits the children, which she does, and she's using them for her own fame. I'm glad to see that the show is going off the air. I watched the second last episode, and her biatch level has gone up to 99.9%. I would be astonished if anybody ever wants to see this woman on TV again, and personally, that's just fine by me. Bye-bye, Kate. I was on YouTube the other day, and you know, you get that box of recommended videos, and for some reason there was a video recommended to me that had to do with the 9/11 conspiracy. Now, the video was of the second jet flying into the building, and the person who made the video was doing play-by-play on all the things that he thinks happened around this conspiracy theory, where some people believe that the buildings were wired to blow up prior to the planes hitting the building. So I'm watching this and I'm reminded of the moon landing conspiracy theory that was really hot a little while ago. I think there was a guy who walked up to Neil Armstrong with a Bible and wanted him to swear on the Bible that he had actually gone to the moon. And I saw some shows and they disproved almost all of the theories, and the one thing that the conspiracy theorists really couldn't respond to was that they actually put something on the moon that's sending a signal back to Earth. Pretty hard to deny the moon landings when you can actually pick up that signal. So this 9/11 theory is the same thing. And I was watching the video and the jet hit the building, and just where the wings went in, you could see 2 puffs of smoke above and below the wing, and this guy's theory was that the building was wired. Now, of course, the whole nose of the jet had gone in by then, and obviously there was things happening already, but the thing that astonished me was I'm expected to believe that not only was the building wired, but they placed explosives at exactly the spots that would be just above and below the wing, because they knew exactly where the plane was going to fly into the building. But now, all that aside, the thing that I wonder about is your life so devoid of meaning that the only thing that you can do to make yourself feel important is to champion a conspiracy theory that has already been disproved? I mean, it's one thing if you had any real evidence, but the theory has already been put to bed. I could possibly buy into the government may have known the attacks were coming and did nothing about it, but I can't for a second believe that those buildings were wired by somebody without somebody knowing about it by now. So that brings me to my next point. One of the things I wonder about these conspiracy theorists is, what is your final goal? I mean, what would happen if you did prove the theory that nobody went to the moon, or you did prove the theory that the World Trade Center was somehow wired? Are you going to stand up and go, aha, I was right? What are you literally hoping to get out of this? Are you trying to prove that Republicans are warmongers, or that George Bush was a warmonger? Is it so difficult for you to believe that this happened, that somehow the government wasn't involved in some way? I'm just wondering what the motive is for it. And to be quite honest with you, I think you should get a hobby, a productive hobby. If you focused as much money and effort on trying to find a cure for cancer as you do following around idiotic conspiracy theories, well, we might actually have a cure by now. Do something constructive with your life. I mean, let's face it, most people look at you and think that the wheel is spinning, but the hamster's dead. In news of the weird, a man was nabbed at a U.S. airport when it was found that he had a snake in his trouser. Pardon? Now, the man was apparently trying to smuggle a reptile into the U.S. The snake was discovered when the man went through a body scanner. I think this guy should have devoted a little more time to actual snake placement. With just the right placement, a snake in your trouser could be made to look like a trouser snake. Hello! I really hope they didn't try to pat this guy down. I can just see the guy doing the pat down saying, well, this guy's pretty excited. I felt it move. That's all I have for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to vote, rate, subscribe, and comment. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section and I'll answer them in my next video.